everyone, it's Georgie here from Her Hair My Head. Today I am talking to you about small parting toppers that are particularly good for people who are in the early stages of hair loss. Now obviously I'm not in the early stages of hair loss, I need more coverage than a parting topper, but I'm going to try some on and talk you through them because I think when you're new to toppers it can be really scary. There's so many different base sizes, and through the consultations that I hold, a lot of people who are buying their first topper tend to go for something like this, which is just a parting topper. This is from Wille. This is called Just. So this base size, there's a few different versions of Just, but this is the same. All of the Just versions have this base size and this base construction. This is just long. I'll put all the information below because I can't remember how long this is exactly, but there's also a shorter Just, which I think is around 8 to 10 inches, but again, find out down there because my memory's rubbish. But Just long is significantly longer. Then there's also a Just Nature, which is the same as the short Just, but it's with human hair. So this is a heat-friendly synthetic. I like Wille synthetics because you can straighten them, curl them, blow dry them up to a certain heat. The fibres look shiny in a natural, I've got nice shiny hair way, and not my hair's plastic way. And I also like them because a lot of their bases are just one layer of lace, which makes them really light. I genuinely don't feel them. I'm used to wearing much bulkier toppers, but I genuinely don't feel these when I wear them. So this is the darkest colour in this range, and it is called Espresso Mix. It's not quite black, I'd say it's more of a darkest brown. It's a bit dark for me, but I'm going to try it on just to show you. And also you can see it's not necessarily a lace front because the topper is just made of this one layer of lace. You could, if you thought that this was too much of a sharp line, you could just trim this ever so slightly and make it a bit more zigzaggy. But I think that the base kind of just melds into your head. I don't think it's particularly obvious. So I can't also remember the exact measurements of the base. Check down below. This has got 4 very little clips. Now I'm used to wearing much bigger toppers with bigger clips. If you felt this wasn't secure enough, you could swap these clips for slightly bigger ones. Now I'm going to blend this in with my hair because this is actually quite a good match of length. It gives you good coverage along your parting, but not quite so good coverage at the crown. So I'll turn around, you can see. I have quite a lot of hair loss at my crown. It doesn't really cover up there. If you like this size, but you want more coverage at the crown, have a look at Couture, because it's the same size at the front, but it has a bigger bit at the back that gives you crown coverage. I've made a video about it, I'll put a link in. So this is the smallest base that Wille do in their toppers. The next one up is Couture, which, as I said, similar, but it's got like a larger, wider bit at the back that gives you that crown coverage. So why is this a great topper for beginners to toppers, or people that just don't need too much coverage? It's flat. I think it looks like my hair. It's really flat. It's really light. I genuinely can't tell that I'm wearing it. And it's not too expensive because it's synthetic hair. When you're new to buying toppers, it takes you a little while of wearing a topper to know what you want. And I personally don't think you should necessarily invest in a really expensive human hair topper if you've never worn a topper before. So this is great because they're under £200. it eases you into having a topper. So lots of my customers have started off with this, found their feet with wearing toppers, and then thought, actually no, I want a bit more volume, or I want a bit more coverage, and then they've moved up to something bigger. So I would say that Just is a really great starter topper, or for someone who just wants a little bit more hair but not loads more hair. So even if you were someone who was just starting to thin at the parting, it just gives you a bit of coverage. They're great for updos because they're so small and light. You can put your hair in an updo and you won't notice. So I've got this colour in stock. This is Espresso Mix in the Just Long, which is obviously much longer. Then I've got two other Just Longs in stock. I've got this one, it's a really popular blonde with Wille toppers. This is called Sandyblonde Rooted. So it's got a slightly darker, slightly ashy root, and then it's a lovely mix of sort of light and mid to dark blonde. Obviously it's not my colour, but I'm not even going to do the clips up. I'm just going to put it on to show you what it looks like on a person. The other thing with these bases is you can have the parting wherever you want. It's a free parting. So I've decided this is the front, but you could make this the front. If you wanted to go crazy, although the layering might be a bit off, you could make that the front. If you needed coverage across here, you'd have to get it cut because it's not been layered to be worn like this. There we go. But I'm going to do it how it's supposed to be worn. But you've just got a bit of flexibility. So this is Sandyblonde Rooted. Again, I'd say this is quite a popular blonde. Suits lots of ladies. Doesn't suit me, but I am a brunette. But it's a really nice shade. And then the other one I have got is called, okay, this one is Bernstein Rooted, and this is the next shade darker from Sandyblonde. So it's got a very similar root, just a tiny bit darker. I'll put the two up next to each other. Really, really similar. This one is just slightly blonder. So if you're more blonde, go for this one. If you're more dark blonde, I would say go for that one. But the roots are almost identical. It's just a slight difference. I would say Bernstein is kind of, it's like a dark blonde, almost a blonde. But it is still a blonde, it's not brown. Just a bit darker. That's another really popular colour. I'm going to show you one other topper that is another, what I would call a sort of starter, beginning of your hair loss topper. Another small base from Wille. And this one is called Dream. And it's bigger, so the smallest one is just. And then I said about if you want more at the crown, you could look at Couture. The next sort of hop up is Dream. She's quite thin at the front, and then she comes out here. Again, it's a free parting, so if you have more hair loss here and less here, there is no reason that you can't wear her with this at the front. Or you can wear her either way, basically. So if you thought, I've got more hair loss here, you could wear her like that. That's giving you significantly more coverage at the front, and then it's sort of going to, not a point, but it's thinning out at the back. Or if you think, actually, my crown, I want that crown coverage, I don't need as much coverage here. Flip her around. She's got a bit less hair here, but she's got a lot more coverage there. Again, I will put the link in the bottom. This colour is a really lovely brunette called Mocca Rooted. The root is very subtle. It's hardly a root. It's just ever so slightly darker. She's a medium brown base with these lovely blonde highlights. Really nice. I hope that's been useful. Thank you.